that I lived with, and what you're going to see behind me, by the way, I'm going to preface this with I'm not going to perfectly synchronize with the slides, but it possibly will at some point, which is a sheer coincidence, in which case it'll be magical. Amen. When I moved back from Chicago to Minneapolis, back to Brookings, which is where I'm originally from, I was living in a cardboard box in my apartment on the 3rd floor, which I had customized. It was a cardboard box, an old refrigerator box that I picked up off the curb. And I was there because it was the safest place for me to be. That was pretty much my routine. I would get my son over to Maderi School, I'd come home, lock the door, hide in the cardboard box, and that was my life for several weeks. Because what I didn't know at the time was I was clinically depressed, if that's how you want to define it. And what I later learned after well over a decade is the clinical depression, can be cured by medication, which is one form of the cure, but it's only one part of a long healing path. And once you can learn to accept the depression as a gift, which is what I eventually became able to do, you treat it with some responsibility, and you realize I'm in this for the long haul. You can swallow the pills, which does work. Some of the best times of my life and some of the worst times of my life have been on depression. I've been completely joyful on them, and I've also been physically banging my head on a wall because I could not feel anything. So they're very dangerous. They need to be treated with respect, and a lot of times it takes a lot of effort, different doctors to find the right medication. Other ways to heal from that, though, are to treat it as a gift. And by treating it as a gift, I was able to find this team of people that could help me get through it. And I've arrived at this collection of tools, and that's why I'm here. To offer people insight if you're going through depression, if down the road you find yourself depressed or someone that you know that's depressed, your first reaction might be, because of what we're led to believe, is, well, you need to go see a doctor, and that's great. Go see the doctor, and also consider some other options that you can do in conjunction with the medication, like exercise. It's been proven the most effective thing to do when you're depressed is to get out and walk. It's something that we can all do. It's free. It's freely available. The things you eat, walk the perimeter of a grocery store. That's where all your whole foods are. It feeds the mind as well as fuels the body. And family support, having a positive, loving family environment. We heard already today about the Sufi and about these beautiful forms of love. Love is completely healing for depression. And are you going to sit there at someone's bedside who's suicidal and say, well, you need to accept love more. You need to love more. Go find. Well, that's part of it. So we need to be somewhat realistic about, where this person is in the stage of depression, and you need to just consider some of these things. And I certainly wouldn't be able to be up here if I wasn't fully confident that, I've gone through all the conventional approaches of medication. And again, I'm not up here to say that that's not part of the solution. I understand the science of depression, that it affects the neurotransmitters, but so do things like poetry, riding a bike, traveling, singing. All these things can add up to help you become more joyful, to learn more about yourself. And lately I've been experiencing Healing the Inner Child workshop, which is offered up in Watertown at the Mother of God Monastery. And Sister Emily is a firm believer that the worlds of depression can happen on many different levels, but she's convinced that from all the people that she's met with that are suffering from depression on all different levels, it stems from not fully understanding your inner child. At some point in our lives, not intentional maybe by our parents, not by other adults, but our inner child wasn't fully accepted, and so we weren't able to fully understand and be authentic and embrace that inner child, because it's in all of us. And that inner child, in my opinion, is the purest, most authentic part of ourselves. That's the God that exists in all of us. And the closer that we're aligned with that, the more we're able to see that in other people and be confident in ourselves, and also help others become more confident and loving and accepting. And by the way, one last thing I want to say is, when you see someone who's depressed, don't think you have to fix it. Let them suffer through it, as long as they're not suicidal, because it is a gift, and it is something that when they go through the process of suffering and can figure out these tools on their own with some help and some feedback from you become a much more joyful person in the end. So thank you very much.